My name is Gabrielle Goodwin. I am the Director of Graduate Legal Studies and a professor here at Indiana University Maurer School of Law. I'm going to be talking to you about U.S. bar exams, if anyone is interested in being eligible to take a U.S. bar exam, and then potentially becoming a member of the bar in a state in the U.S. I have a lot of slides to go through pretty quickly with a lot of information that will be available to you later, so I won't go through everything in explicit detail. In the US, law graduates are required to take a bar exam in order to practice law, and each state regulates its own bar admission, including the bar exam, and they have complete discretion in this process. Some states permit foreign lawyers with an LL.M degree to take the bar exam and be admitted to practice, but not every state allows this. New York, Washington, D.C., and California are the most popular states for foreign lawyers to take the bar exam. But every year, more and more states are opening up their bar exams for foreign lawyers. These are just a couple of websites from some of the more popular states' bar exam websites that where you can find additional information. You know, New York is by far the most popular, and they have a great website that allows you to get all the information that you need to become eligible if you come from a different jurisdiction and have a foreign legal education. District of Columbia also has a beautiful new website that's a little bit more difficult to find the information that you need, but you just keep on looking at this section on admissions. And then the State Bar of California also has its admission rules, including for foreign education. The ultimate guide is the bar admission requirements that is put out every year by the National Conference of Bar Examiners. And this guide is very helpful to determine what are the requirements to become eligible to sit for a bar exam and then to be eligible to become a member of the bar in a state. Looking at, for example, the New York Board of Law Examiners eligibility requirements. So I'll go through these very quickly just so that you get a sense of what is required. So it requires a qualifying degree. That means your first degree must be in law. The law school where you received your degree must be accredited by an accrediting agency of the government of your home country. There must be a durational equivalency. So a JD degree in the United States is 3 years of full-time study, and therefore your degree at home must be of similar or substantially equivalent in duration. It also must be substantially equivalent, so that means that you must have studied the principles of the English common law system. Now, most people coming from civil law countries will not meet this fourth requirement. And that's why there is a cure provision for the New York bar exam eligibility. And that is that someone that takes an LL.M degree in an ABA-approved law school in the United States could cure this deficiency. You can cure either the durational or the substantive deficiency by getting an LL.M degree, but not both. Some of the requirements for the actual education that you receive in an LL.M degree, it must be within 24 months of matriculation. Most LL.M degrees are a one-year program, so you have to complete it within 2 years at the most. The degree must be 24 semester hours of credit. The period of instruction is at least 2 semesters. It has to be in an ABA-approved law school, and all the coursework has to be completed in the United States. Required coursework for the LL.M has to include professional responsibility, legal research and writing, some kind of course about U.S. law, and then at least 6 credits in subjects that are tested on the New York bar exam. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Other permissible court work, it includes clinical courses and other types of courses related to legal training. Documents that you need in order to become eligible, you have to submit these to the Board of Law Examiners, and they will be looked over and decided if they meet the eligibility requirements. So official transcripts from every law school, degree certificates, proof of fulfillment of the educational requirement for admission to practice law in your home country, accreditation, and then proof of successful completion of a 24-credit LL.M program. Additional documents if necessary, so you might have to supplement the transcript, and if necessary, there should be an English translation of everything that you submit. There will be an evaluation of the eligibility, and it is a long process. So they require that all of your documents be submitted at least 6 months before you might need to apply to take a bar exam. So if you're thinking about taking the bar exam in July, 6 months prior, so no later than October 1st, the preceding year, in order to make sure that you can go through this whole process. If you're planning on a February bar exam, then May 1st is your deadline. The board will not review any of your evaluations until all of the required supporting documentation is received by the bar. And here's the website where you can find all of this information. And as I said, New York is by far the most popular and has a lot of information available to potential applicants. This year, so February 27th and 28th is the soonest time you could take the bar exam. That's coming right up. And then July 24th and 25th. You can see the application deadline for those dates there. Run the length of November and then April for the July. New York is one of a growing number of states that has adopted the uniform bar exam. And it's not much different from the old bar exam, but the advantage is that the score can be transported from state to state, depending on the regulations of each state. But like the old bar exam, it includes multiple parts: the multi-state bar exam, the multi-state performance test, and the multi-state essay exam. The MPT is on a Tuesday. It is weighted 20% of the exam, 2 90-minute items lasting a total of 3 hours. And this is an interesting part of the exam because it determines your competence to practice. It's not a test of substantive knowledge. You're given materials and then asked to perform a task. The essay exams, also on Tuesday, are 30% of the total. You have 6 30-minute essay questions lasting 3 hours, and this tests your ability to identify legal issues, separate material which is relevant from what is not, present a reasoned analysis of the relevant issues in a clear, concise, and well-organized manner, and demonstrate an understanding of fundamental legal principles that are relevant to solving a problem in a factual situation. Multi-state bar exam is all day Wednesday. This is half of the score, 6 hours, 200 question multiple choice exam, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. This is a long exam. 190 questions are scored, and in the following subject matter, you can see here. And just to kind of give you a comparison for the multiple choice exam, the MBE, with the essay questions, there is a lot of areas of law that are covered here. And some of them are crossed over between the two, but you can see that it requires quite a bit of study in every area of law. And this is where the requirement that you take at least 6 credits of some subject tested on the bar exam comes in. So any one of these subjects would qualify. Some challenges, especially for LL.M students. This is a test that's in English. It's a memory test, and it is a test of your study habits, really. Having a long enough time to study and study in an economical way. The test is designed for native English speakers who've studied American law for 3 years. So that gives them a distinct advantage over an LL.M student who may have just been studying in the United States for 1 year in a new and different legal system. You're used to civil law. The bar exam is basically focused on common law system. 2.5 months in the summer is a long time to prepare. Some ways of improving your odds. I always recommend to students that they consider a bar review course. So Barbary, LL.M bar exam, Kaplan are some of the most popular ones. Every JD student in the country takes one of these bar review courses as well in order to make sure that they pass the bar exam. Some additional strategies: make sure you give yourself more time to study. Consider, if this is possible, doing an LL.M program in 3 semesters rather than 2. Take the February bar instead of the July bar, giving yourself some extra time to study. And think about study techniques. Take advantage of extracurricular programs. So here at Maurer School of Law, we have free programs every semester for students to be prepared for and get studying for the bar exam, some practice tests, some practice essay writing. Practice timing, especially on essay questions. Timing is probably the biggest factor in determining how well you do on the bar exam. Take bar-focused classes, set up a study group, for example. Just to give you an idea of what the pass rates are for those that have taken the New York bar exam, for all ABA law school grads, that's JD students, for their first time, the pass rate is 79%. For foreign educated grads, the first time takers, it's 42%. So you can see there's quite a big difference there. Combined domestic and foreign, 70%. It's interesting that repeating the bar exam, if you don't pass the first time, it actually, your score seems to go down rather than up. So something to think about. Some additional requirements for bar admission in New York. So passing the bar exam is just the first step. Then there's also New York law courses and a New York law exam. Since the adoption of the uniform bar exam, there aren't any questions that are specific to New York law. Therefore, you have to take New York law course, which is an online course, and a New York law exam, which is online. You're required to do 50 hours of pro bono service and take the multi-state professional responsibility examination as well. Character and fitness requirements. If you get through everything, this is kind of one of the final steps in becoming a member of the bar in a state. I'm not going to go over this very carefully, except to say that the pro bono requirement is very serious, but it's very flexible. Even for those coming from outside of the United States, you can actually fulfill your service outside of the US before you start, during, or after your study for an LL.M. The 50-hour requirement has to be completed before applying for admission to become a member of the bar, not before admission to or applying to take a bar exam. All right, and then just some things to think about for visas. If you take the bar exam in July or February, this is typically after a 60-day grace period for F1 visa holders. And you would need to then apply for optional practical training within 60 days in order to have more time to study for and take the bar exam. And finally, this is just the office here of International Programs and Graduate Legal Studies at Indiana University Maurer School of Law. That's me there in the middle, and with my email address, and I would be happy to answer any questions now or in the future. Thank you.